Announcing Masters of the Creatorverse, moderated by Todd Spangler, business editor, Variety.
Good morning. Hello, everybody. Thank you for joining us today. And we have a full panel of people who have a collective, probably 2 centuries worth of experience in the creator economy. So let's get started. First of all, we have a real live creator here, Hannah Stocking, who has more than 73 million followers, maybe more than that now?
Yeah.
Yes. At last count. Anyway, so we'll just go down the row here and tell us a little bit about yourself, what you do, and what the creator economy means to you.
Well, hello, everybody. I'm Hannah Stocking. Very happy to be here. I've been in the space for about 13 years now, and I just want to say thank you guys so much for coming back in the day. I mean, it was always a dream of mine to bridge the gap between traditional and digital, and being able to have these conversations is just a dream come true, and I'm really excited that we're, starting to bridge this gap. The creator economy is something, I'm extremely passionate about. I feel like back in the day, it was definitely overlooked, and, just there's so much work ethic involved, and I feel like creators now are, starting to think like entrepreneurs, business owners, and we're almost our own digital media companies,
yeah.
and I think that's really special.
And I think that squares with something that I've observed, is that people don't understand how hard folks like Hannah Stocking work. It's a full-time job and a half. Anyway, moving on here, Griffin Haddrill.
Yeah, I'm Griffin.
Elevate, you've known Hannah for some time.
Yeah, 10 years. So yeah, her and I have done
some lifetime.
Work throughout the years. I'm Griffin Haddrill. I run a influencer media and content marketing company called Elevate. We're based actually out in Las Vegas, so any locals got to rep the local gang. There we go. We work with thousands of creators over the years. I just got a call from my accountant a couple weeks ago. We've paid out over 11,000 creators over the past several years. So a lot of 1099s. But excited to be up here. Influencer has been something that I've been super passionate about since Vine, into YouTube, into Musical.ly, into TikTok. So, and I'm excited and honored to be amongst some brilliant minds.
All right, next we have Louis Ball, who is Chief Product Strategy Officer at RHEI, one time known as Broadband TV. Tell us what the company does today.
Yeah, thanks, Todd. Good to see everybody here. Yeah, so I mean, we started right at the start of the creator economy. We were talking earlier, I'm not even sure we could call it the creator economy back in 2006, 2005. But today our focus is on building AI for creators. We just launched a platform called Made in December that focuses on allowing creators who have to wear an unbelievable amount of different hats, from being the creative strategist, from production to community engagement, to putting their data analyst hat on and managing all of their auxiliary monetization channels. There's so many things, and often it's just one person doing this, or a couple of people, or a small team. So our focus is on using AI to be able to develop creators into more media companies, also in the process of helping them enjoy creating more, reducing burnout, and so on and so forth.
Okay. Next we have Aleen Dreksler, who is CEO of Betches.
Yes.
One of you tell us what
I'll
Betches
do
is.
it. I got it.
Yeah.
Yes, hi, I'm Aleen Dreksler, CEO and co-founder of Betches Media. Launched Betches 15 years ago now with my 2 childhood friends, bootstrapped it, got acquired 2 years ago, and now I'm building Betches into the future. We sit at an interesting intersection between the creator economy and, I guess, I don't want to even call it traditional media, but modern media, because we ourselves, our brands, operate like a creator. We have the trust and the loyalty and the fan obsession of a creator, but the scale and reach of a modern media company. So we work with creators, and we ourselves are creators. We worked with Jake Shane on a big Uber Eats campaign I was telling you earlier about for the holidays, and Megan Thee Stallion and all. But then we also develop creators in-house, like Hannah Berner, who came through our doors for a while. And yeah, I'm also, as the reason why I'm here, all of us are here, is we are all very passionate about the space. This is the future. But it's exciting to see where it goes.
All right, next we have Rich Bloom, who is GM of Creator Programs at Tubi. You're kind of the internet startup inside of Fox Corporation.
Yes, so we've been part of Fox for a number of years now. Tubi is, by many measures, the biggest ad-supported streaming platform. We have over 100 million monthly active users. We stream over 1 billion hours a month. And it's a completely free ad-supported platform with very low friction. And so I joined Tubi last year in April to launch and build Tubi for Creators. So it's been live for about 7 months. The mission of Tubi for Creators is to give creators a pathway to Hollywood that allows them to maintain their authenticity that made them popular in the first place, give them creative freedom, and importantly, allow them to maintain ownership of their IP while getting into the streaming space. We launched in June with about 6 creators and a few hundred episodes of content, and we're scaling really quickly. We have about 150 creators on the platform now, over 13,000 episodes of content, and it's a mix of non-exclusive library content that they're already making, and then also we're funding exclusive production for content that lives on Tubi.
Okay, yeah, we'll talk more about your model later in the panel. And then right there in the end, we have Aleen Catanese,
yes,
CEO of Smosh, which is probably the longest running YouTube native comedy brand out there. Just give us a high level view of what is Smosh.
Yeah, Smosh is a 20-year-old media and production company founded by Anthony Padilla and Ian Hecox. They were a creator duo that started in their bedroom. It was a website first, and then it became a YouTube channel once they realized that hosting video content on their website was very expensive.
And Smosh at one point was the #1 most subscribed channel in the world on YouTube.
Yeah, we're also the first to hit 1,000 subscribers, 10,000 subscribers, 1 million subscribers, and 10 million subscribers.
They're OG creators.
Yeah.
And what's next for Smosh? You've got a live special coming up.
Yeah, next Friday, the 16th, we have a live ticketed event. So it's a live streamed live show. It's called Smosh Hospital, and it's an improv-focused hospital. Think The Pit meets Grey's Anatomy. We like to have fun. Yeah. We like comedy, and so we have some really strong improvisers on our talent roster. We have about 15 creators that we work with, and they're very talented, and it'll be a great time. I hope you all watch.
All right, so let me start with you, Hannah. Tell us a little bit about your origin story. How did you get into this business, in this career? I mean, did you grow up thinking you wanted to be a creator and, creating fun and interesting stuff on YouTube, which probably didn't exist back when you were...
Yeah, so I actually grew up pretty poor, and I remember looking up on Google, what's the occupation I could make the most money? And at the time, it was be a doctor. So I said, you bet. So I actually got a volleyball scholarship to college, and crazy, but I double majored in biology and chemistry and did embryonic stem cell research. And while I was at the gym one day, training for volleyball, I met a couple Viners, and they said something funny to me. I guess I said something funny to them back, and they were like, hey, okay, why don't you come out and Vine with us? And I thought that was so crazy because I just assumed Vines were just off-the-cuff videos that you just take of your cat. And so anyways, they were all really funny, and it was just an opportunity to get out of the house and not just hang out with my cats and my parents. And so anyways, I made my first Vine. And
Vine, in case you didn't know, that's the 6-second video platform that Twitter shut down, but it was super popular. I mean, it prefigured TikTok, and if they just hung on to it, I don't know. Yeah. It would have been different. But go ahead. Sorry, Hannah.
Yeah, they're like 6-second videos. But anyways, I got 100,000 followers in one day. It went viral. And the Viners basically sat me down, and they said, you have a fan base now. You owe it to your fans to come out with more content. We're Vining tomorrow at 10 a.m. sharp. Come with 3 ideas. And I was like, okay, why not? And I, still stuck with, my degrees and finished all that. And then my goal was to just, take a year off while I studied for the MCAT and just do Vines on the side and make enough money for med school. And then, months went by and I made that. And then my parents are confused, I'm confused, and my dad's still confused at what I do.
What do you do, Hannah?
He doesn't get it. But yeah, and
Good sign.
that was about 13 years ago, and I'm like a cockroach in the bathroom. You can't get rid of me. I'm still kicking somehow.
Well, has your goal been to, become a TV movie actor? I mean, you've been in Wrong Paris, it's this movie with Miranda Cosgrove, right? And you're in this new microdrama called Playback, which is coming out soon. What is your career path now?
Well, when I first started, short form content wasn't really a lucrative form yet. It was just so long ago. It was honestly purely off of delusion.
I love vining as a verb. That's
Yeah.
such a throwback.
And, I just feel like then versus now, it's more like now I'm starting what's changed is scale and intention. And, my intention now is to create IP, brand partnerships, diving into traditional film, and how I learned how to do social media is to be in other people's social media videos. And now, it's being done now, and it can't be overlooked that creators are diving into the traditional space and creating their own TV shows and movies. And so, yeah, I was fortunate enough to be in Netflix rom-com and a couple other movies and verticals where I can really just learn how it works. And the goal is to kind of keep doing what I'm doing, create brands, start brands, own them, and also do that as well.
All right, good. Griffin, let me ask you, give us a level set. What does your business look like today, and how has that changed in the last 3-4 years?
Ooh, that's a good question. I would say, so in the start, years and years ago, it was really, we developed a model where we paid creators. We represented the brand, right? So we worked on behalf of the brand, finding ways for them to integrate with creators very early on in the creator industry. So we had to spend a lot of time, money, attention, people, manpower to educate companies that the creator space was a valuable space to be in. Turns out we were right. But I think for all the good reasons, I think creator economy is shifting so much. And right now, more than ever, I think to Hannah's point on franchising, we used to pay creators, and I think just a flat rate for participation in a brand campaign, if you will. Now, I think what we're seeing is more collaboration with the creators to help them franchise, help them earn the upside.
And
right?
so that's based on performance metrics.
That's based on performance metrics. I think what we're trying to look at now is how do we represent the brand, but also how do we represent the creator in a unique partnership where we're developing joint ventures between the brand and the creator. We're developing upside opportunities and models where the creator has unlimited earning potential if the franchise opportunity goes well. And in addition to that, I think we're trying to re-engineer what does the future of creator deal making look like. So we're empowering creator first so that they can be an authentic representation to the brand. So that's how we're changing, and we're modernizing. And I would say in addition to that, we're also seeing as much as things are living in the digital world, we're trying to bring those out in the physical world. So we just launched a stunts and activation business where we're doing all sorts of fun, crazy things that require a lot of releases and legal sign-offs. But it's super exciting because we want to bring, how do we bring creators into the physical world? How do we bring brands into the physical world? And then how do we amplify that into the digital world?
Okay. Louis, when it comes to pain points that creators have, I mean, they're much the same that they've always been, haven't they? Or what is different today?
Well, I mean, when we started, when folks were on their bedroom webcam, there was a 16:9 format. There was one platform, really. I mean, there was a couple, a little. I mean, you obviously
still there.
Came along a little later. It's still there, still doing pretty well, I hear. And, people would aim for maybe like a 3 or 4 minute video because that's what performed really well in the era of the algorithm being a little bit more predictable.
We're talking about YouTube.
We're talking about YouTube. Yeah, so that's where things started. I mean, now we're at the point where there's legitimate other video platforms that creators can generate revenue from. There's a whole bunch of different formats. We're talking about everything from like 30-second content all the way up to feature-length films. And so things have got ultimately far more complex. But there's a lot of stuff that hasn't changed, and the stuff that hasn't changed is the creator's ability to be able to do all of these things. So I think the job of the creator has become infinitely more challenging. And that's why for us, I think when we look at the opportunity around AI and what we're investing in, that solves a lot of these problems. Now, there's a lot of more problems coming down with AI-generated content, and there's going to be some other stuff there that is going to be a whirlwind for both creators and platforms to navigate. But ultimately, AI gives the ability for creators to be able to enhance everything that they do.
Yeah, it's important, I think, to distinguish AI as a management tool, as a technology management thing, versus AI-generated content. Aleen, we were talking about this a little bit. And your point was that trust becomes the currency for creators in an AI-saturated world. Can you extrapolate a little bit more on that?
Yeah, sure. I think and just thinking about the future, what is going to be apparent is that we're going to have a lot of AI-generated content on every platform. Maybe there's going to be, well, there is a lot right now. Can you imagine what it's going to be like in just 1 year, like let alone 5 to 10? I think that a challenge for creators will be having to keep up with the volume. I do think that audiences might get sick of it and will want to go back to finding real human connection, whether that's online and offline, and that's something that I'm personally investing in with Betches. But I do think that trust is going to be the #1 form of currency for brands to reach audiences, for creators to reach their own audiences, just all across the board. You're going to have to use metrics that relay trust and less about scale. I think that's where we're headed. But yeah, I'm excited to use AI, though, to power the content and enable us to connect with our audiences. But I think people, no matter what, especially as AI becomes really prevalent online, they're going to be craving human connection. And that's what we already do. So I'm excited to see how we can do that even better with AI.
Hannah, let me ask you, how do you view this AI content trend, and what does that mean for you and your business?
Well, I'm already using it. I'm definitely using it as a tool. I think it's super cost efficient for me and time efficient. And right now I'm kind of using ChatGPT, trying to kind of spark ideas. I don't think creatively it's where it needs to be yet. However, it does provoke thoughts for me, where I can kind of write concepts around. And then when it comes to editing, I definitely play around with realism VFX a lot, and then just silly VFX. And I basically go on ChatGPT. I figure out the exact prompt to use and what I'm looking for. I throw it in Kling or Nano Banana, and then it just spits it out, and it's beautiful.
But have you been deep-faked? I mean, is that an issue for you as a creator?
I haven't that I know about.
Okay. I don't mean to give anybody any ideas.
Ignorance might be bliss there.
What's that?
I said ignorance might be bliss.
What is your perspective on this? From Smosh's point of view, Ali, is it that nothing replaces spontaneous human comedy?
I think personally, AI has its functions, and I am sure that we're not even seeing or maybe even contemplating the ways in which it can bring positives to the industry. I'm sure there's a lot that we have to work out professionally, and from Smosh's standpoint. AI does not understand nuance. It doesn't understand the complexity of a joke. It doesn't understand comedic timing. It's not going to replace the people and the humanity behind content of our kind anyway. And, I'm sure that there are people out there who might disagree, but the same way I can't go to Egypt and tell jokes that are American, you can't have AI try and tell.
It doesn't translate.
Right. It just doesn't translate well. And it's everything from slang and local jargon, or just, even like if you think about going to a different country, they have different political leaders, celebrities, they have different phrases or turns of sayings, right? So there's just different ways to communicate. One of my closest friends is Irish, and she has her little Irish sayings, and I'm always like, what does that mean? What did you just say? What does that mean? And she's like, oh, you've never heard that? It means da-da-da. And to her, that's a normal phrase. To me, I've never heard it before, so I feel the same way with AI. I'm sure that in time it will learn, but I think from Smosh's perspective, the beauty and the funny is never in intentionality. It's always in the casual conversations that we have person to person. And Smosh Mouth is a prime example of that. It's one of our biggest podcasts besides Reddit stories. It's just chatting, and they're not trying to be funny. They don't have scripted jokes ready to go. They just find the funny in the conversation, in the friendship, in the collaboration, and that's an organic thing that I don't know if AI will ever be able to create.
The interesting thing there, though, is that I remember back in the day what Hollywood would say about the first YouTube content. Probably garbage would be a word uttered amongst many of the studios.
Slap.
That's where it would start it, right? But look where we are today. It's a $250 million.
Yeah, for a lot of people,
economy.
YouTube is TV.
Yeah, and AI might become that.
But my point isn't that AI is garbage. My point is that AI doesn't understand the nuance behind comedy specifically.
It's boring.
Yeah.
Because AI
But it might
does
get
understand.
there. That's what I think, and that's why it's interesting, because creators are now in that space where Hollywood maybe was 15, 20 years ago. It's interesting. I don't know. I mean, who knows? Because I think we're constantly surprised what happens with AI week after week. I mean, it might be next week that it suddenly is magically funny.
Right. I guess the point I'm making is now the nuance behind comedy is an organic and a very personal touch that I don't think AI is capable of.
Yeah, ChatGPT can't tell jokes.
We might not know the future, but what we do know is that AI is very good at learning what we already know.
Yeah, good point.
You need a Smosh GPT and a Hannah GPT, because the creativity that comes out of both those channels are like second to none. As much as I know you probably prompt Chat GPT, there's nothing's competing with Hannah's mind or Smosh's creativity around their content.
Rich, let me ask you, why is creator content and original content from creators, why is that something Tubi is interested in? Because simply rebroadcasting stuff they've already produced on YouTube, that seems redundant. And I mean, you tell me, what's the strategy here?
Yeah, so we're doing more than that, but there is great value for Tubi's audience and for creators to take existing content and have it live on Tubi. So look, for Tubi, our audience skews younger. Over half our audience are Gen Z and millennial. We heard really clearly from them that they wanted more unique storytelling, and the number one place they pointed to was creator content. And we had a couple of originals like Sideline featuring Noah Beck. That was our biggest original of all time. That solidified the desire for it. And a lot of Tubi's secret sauce is the breadth and depth of our library. So we have the biggest library of any streaming service. We have 3,000 movies and TV shows. So our approach to creator is really unique to Tubi. So we're really good at creating these, we talk a lot about creating rabbit holes of fandom. And so with the signals we saw from our audience, with everything just going on in the ecosystem, it was a natural progression for us to really go deep and wide with getting creator content that in these fandoms that we already have. And what we're seeing on Tubi is someone might come and watch a video from Watcher, who's a great creator in the horror and paranormal space, and then they'll watch a Tubi movie. And then we are also getting exclusive content where we're funding new original content from creators, getting an exclusive window that's appealing to our existing audience and also drawing out audience of fans from that creator.
Yeah, okay, that makes sense. You mentioned Watcher, and those guys came from BuzzFeed. So I think, it's an interesting question of, do the talent supersede the company that they come from? I don't know, maybe Ali, you can address, it's sort of the Saturday Night Live model, and I think, Aleen, you mentioned something like this too, where, you have creators who become super famous in their own right, go on to bigger and better things maybe, or different things.
That's
How do you manage
that's
that?
the bet that I have. I think it's great that you are creators that you've developed in your brand have gone on to become bigger than you could have even imagined. I think the reason, I started Betches because I cared about a brand. I didn't want to be the face of it because I wanted it to live on beyond me, because I knew that that's where the value is. I knew I wouldn't ever be able to exit if I was the face. What you're seeing now, though, is with the creator economy, it's turned that idea on its head. However, now I believe that I have the brand that is like the new age SNL, where people can come to make it. And whether they come and stay and create things like a Hot Ones and Sean at Complex, or they go on and become huge on their own. But that's my bet, and that's what my vision is for when it comes to talent within Betches. But that said, I'm not going to work with any talent. The talent has to fit within the Betches ethos. It has to be women who are funny, or people who make our audience, who are young women, laugh, and also make them feel seen or less alone.
Yeah.
And that's exactly, it's about sticking to that brand and sticking to that vision, and knowing exactly who your audience is and what their behaviors are like.
Allie, do you have any thoughts on this?
Yeah, we have a very similar model. I think we're so happy to work with creators who have existed in the Smosh ecosystem, are not from the Smosh ecosystem, or will live beyond the Smosh ecosystem. I love to see creators, especially the current creators that we work with. Some of them are full-time, most of them are part-time, which is the new term for freelance. But essentially, what that means to us is every single member of our cast is working on independent projects beyond us, and we support those independent projects very often.
Yeah.
Arasha just had a show that she put together, a live show that became a film. It was called How I Met Your Mozzie. It was very specific to her culture. She did it with her partner, Lily. We supported that. Not only did we help invest a little bit in the celebration of it, but we also marketed it on our socials, which is a very easy, low-lift thing for us to do to support another creator, especially somebody that we love to work with. So to us, it's, if one of our biggest talent or any of our talent left to go do something beyond us, no matter what it was, we'd be happy to support their dream to get there in any way, shape, or form. And that's why Anthony and Ian have taken a big step back. I think Anthony more in particular loves to work behind the camera because he loves to work on the strategy of content. And Ian in particular still is on camera and is working on a lot of his solo, stand-up routines and acts, so that's something he's investing in. They're all artists. The two founders of our company are artists. However, they have expanded this cast well before me in order to make sure that we have a future and to invest in the future generations of talent.
And there's brand value that accrues to you, somebody being a Smosh alumni or something.
Absolutely.
And, I think this works at a platform level, too. Neil Mohan at YouTube says, look, Jimmy Donaldson, Mr. Beast, he can go do this Amazon show, and that's great. He'll always have a home at YouTube. And I think, for creators, right, the challenge is how to pick your targets and where to spend your time and energy. How do you do that? In 30 seconds.
Figuring that out. I'm always crawling on the floor, just desperate for ideas all the time. But yeah, it really is, at least for me, a rat race. It's a 24/7 job. I think consistency is key in this space. I think if you do take some time off, your engagement takes a severe hit. And then when you need to come back, you need to make sure you come back with a banger video. But I say 24/7 because even if I'm having a conversation with someone, I'm still thinking of, ideas, or how can I elevate myself and create more IP and all of that.
Yeah. Let me ask you, how do you, the topic of creator burnout is a thing. How do you manage that, I guess, for you personally, and then for the rest of the panelists, what sorts of support do you provide the creators that you work with in terms on that front?
I might just even say this is because I was a student athlete. You have to push through it. Rain or shine, whether you're sick or not, whether it's a holiday, you just have to keep working. And also, I would recommend living, a healthy lifestyle. That's what I try to do, just to keep my brain always firing.
Do you block off time and say, I'm not checking my phone, I'm not doing anything from, do you take a weekend?
Ideas?
Well, for anything.
No, I mean, I should.
Always on, okay.
But I mean, sometimes I'll put my phone on Do Not Disturb and then just go in my notes section and then just go on a walk and just type in ideas. Or another thing that I do that's kind of crazy is right before bed, I just kind of lay down and just try to relax. And then sometimes ideas flood to me. And then I turn over and then I write it down in my notes, and it's 50-50. Some days I wake up to chicken scratch, and some days I wake up to a really good idea.
But for the other people on the panel here, this is a real issue. And what are the guidelines? What can you do from your side?
For our in-house creators, they're full-time employees, so we don't ask them to work 24/7. It's not the same. We don't ask them to be vloggers in their own right, unless that's what they want.
But there's
and
a
what
lot
they're
of pressure,
passionate
right,
about.
to
of
deliver.
Of course there's pressure, right, but we're the type of content we create is we're creating IP that can last again beyond. And for our podcasts and our shows, we say we would like to do this seasonally so you can take a break, because doing an always on show, I've done many. We've started our first podcast 10 years ago. I was on a show for 4 years, one specific show that drained me. I had to leave because it was on the topic of health, body, and wellness. And I was like, I can't keep thinking about this. Jesus Christ. So it happens. I think it's really important to support your creators in terms of their mental health and really understand, because from my perspective, I am a creator, so I understand and I can step inside their shoes. For our content, we have separate people who do weekend stuff, who do during the week stuff. So it's really about really understanding the pain points and really understanding what you're going through. Like the fact that you just said, before bed, I like to lie down. Don't we all?
Anybody else?
I get what you're saying.
I can talk about this from Tubi's perspective as a new platform in the space, asking creators to do something new when it comes to exclusive content. So, we hear from creators again and again, the most valuable resource we have is our time. So for us, we're really mindful in terms of working with creators and getting non-exclusive content. It's a really low-friction way to get access to a bigger audience. About 30% of our audience is not on YouTube. And then when it comes to exclusive content, it's really working with creators and finding passion projects that they have. It's really clear to us if we're selling them on it, it's not going to work. It has to be something where they're like, I want to take this thing I've been making and elevate it, or I have something new I want to make, and they have to really believe in it and want to make it, or it's not going to work because of one of the big reasons being burnout and how they're being pulled in so many different directions.
Yeah.
It's a bit hyperbolic, perhaps, but I think most creators are slave to the algorithm. It's very difficult to know. You hear Hannah talking about how it feels like a hamster on a wheel. If you get off, the wheel stops. Good luck getting it back up. It's difficult. We've seen creator after creator after creator over the last 10, 15, 20 years, lose their career, really, because of that. I think it's been going down. I think that the average creator spends about 46% of their time actually creating, but that's why they got into this business. The good news is I think that's been on the gradual decline. Algorithms get more advanced. That increases the need for you to play into the algorithm and make sure you're adapting your content, you're continuing improving. But I think what we're seeing now is, especially with AI and generative AI, that's going to start to change. Creators are going to be able to get back to what they love. My hope is that if we look at this utopic future, maybe there's some sort of universal-based income, and now, the creator economy is booming because there are so many more creators, because, they can focus on creating. They don't have to do all of the busy work, all of the administration, all of the stuff that requires there. So I think it's definitely, we're at the bottom of where it is right now, but I think we're going to start seeing it turning upwards.
Did you say 46% of their work?
46% of their time is spent creating.
46.
46.
46, sorry.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
that's still not
pretty low.
Majority.
Yeah, even a lot of that is the script writing, all of the stuff that comes with it that can still be improved.
Okay.
Yeah, me personally, I only spend about 4% of my time.
Okay.
I would say it is an issue though. Like there is, I think from the way I view it is from a platform perspective and from a brand perspective, we do have to get better about supporting creators, whether it's accounting practices, whether it's developing better creative. I mean, we need to hold those things to high regard. And I think that's what we're doing as an agency. We make our accounting, almost a seamless process for creators. We meet them in the middle where they're at, what payment platforms they're receiving if they're independent, management companies, making sure they get paid out quickly. But in addition to that, it's also developing creative around that. I started this business with my childhood best friend, Moses, who's sitting over there, and Gabby. And Moses is a creator first. And so he was the one who showed me a lot of the ways in which creators do struggle. And I had to stay close to that problem for a long time. So I think it's building business practice that supports creators quickly, efficiently, and we need to do a better job modernizing it. So I don't think the problem's not finished for a long time, and I think we'll always be tweaking that.
All right, we're almost out of time, but I wanted to ask the panel one more question. What are the metrics that you use to, quantify the creator economy? And we talked a little bit about, number of followers. That's a signal, right? But it's not the full picture of what somebody brings to the table. What are the metrics that matter that really are the things that you focus on, Hannah?
I would probably say engagement, how many shares you get, reposts now, comments and likes. We live in an attention economy, and now it's almost like attention almost isn't even enough. It's like you need to have that emotional connection with your fans, and I think once you have that, it's going to completely translate across all of your engagements.
And so that consideration goes into the content creation at the front end of it, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Because you want to make sure you hit all of those buttons. Anybody else?
I would say since day one, even when followers were important, I was always looking, like you said, engagement, but specifically sends or shares, because the best thing that I ever hear when I meet people who are like, "Oh, I love Betches," and they'll show me their DMs and be like, "I'm constantly sending your DMs between me and my friends," and that's why I'm saying it's about connection. I think that's when you know you have something, when it not only sparks yeah, you like it, okay, next. But then it's like, I thought of you, and I'm going to send it to you, and now we're going to start a conversation and maybe reconnect. Maybe this is an old friend from the past or something like that. I think that is the most important thing. Like Hannah said, it's about emotional connection. That absolutely should drive everything that you make.
Yeah, I think that's right. I think for us, it's anything to do with loyalty, anything you can measure that. Content's becoming a commodity. I mean, I think we can already say that content's become a commodity. The quality of it obviously varies massively. Creating content's part of it. Building an audience is really super hard. And so anything where you can measure out that you actually have loyalty, whether that's a small amount of users or a large amount, I think that's the thing that really, truly matters.
Yeah. Rich, let me just ask you quickly, what is the equation that you use to evaluate the creators you want to work with?
Yeah, so
followers divided by engagement, something like that?
No, so it's not. It would be great if we just had a formula that spit out the right answer. So to us, followers like a very top-level metric that decisions aren't made on, but it's sort of like the first level of filtering scale. Then we're, like other people said, we're looking at engagement. The other thing we're really looking at when it comes to creating exclusive content where we want to make sure there's like a really loyal audience are other signals like, have they sold content? Do they have a Patreon or an SVOD service? Do they have live events? Like, do their fans open their wallet and even buy hats and T-shirts? And that's more of a signal that a creator has this really deep engagement versus more of a surface level engagement that might be more reliant on an algorithm.
Yeah.
A real community. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll have to leave it there. Thank you, everybody. Great discussion. Thanks a lot.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, guys.